Hi everyone. Um, Moving on from my last video regarding healthy boundaries, which was focused on social circles, I think it's also possible to take um, an approach to mental health from a similar sort of angle regarding healthy boundaries. So, as I go into it, you might sort of understand where I'm coming from. So, first of all, first of all, healthy mindset is most important. And for me, a healthy mindset is a place of honesty, a place of honesty with yourself and honesty with others. And it's a great foundation to build from because it's true. It's true life. It's true to your current life path. Um, and everything when you're dealing with honesty is relevant. There's no falseness behind it, and it's a good solid foundation to live your life by. Moving on from that, so we have a healthy mindset of honesty. Moving on from that, a healthy lifestyle, and a healthy lifestyle could include many things. Things like even our finances, our shopping habits. I suppose a lot of it comes down to balance. It's okay. We can treat ourselves now and again if our finances allow it. If we suddenly finding that we are having to indulge ourselves in buying products which we wouldn't normally need or use, and is to sort of compensate for other areas in our life, then that would obviously be a concern. It's something to be mindful of, something to be aware of. And if it starts getting out of hand, something to be addressed, especially if finances and say, obviously we could be in a relationship, we could have children, other halves, other people dependent upon us, and then if our finances are taking a hit because of our shopping habits, that's a concern for everyone. So that is very relevant in my opinion. But of course, it doesn't end there. I suppose, as I say, it all comes down to balance. It's a balance of work, leisure, um, priorities in life. It's just a question of keeping a healthy balance so that we are sort of nourishing ourselves, for perhaps want of a better word, that we are adding value to our lives, but we also being responsible in the process. And lifestyle could also include our social circles. This is all like relevant to our mental health. If we're finding that our social circles are having a detrimental effect on us, then again, it's time to take action. And it's a question of balance, it's a question of compromise. But if we find that our social circles are having a negative effect on us, and that the people in our social circles aren't potentially the best of people to have in our social circles, again, it's time to take action. And that could just mean thinking, oh, what could we do differently? How can we approach these situations to get our point of view across in the hope that they will compromise, understand our feelings, our mental health, and work with us, basically. But obviously, if it comes to more drastic actions, as in sort of spending less time with certain people in your social circles, or even if it comes to remove them from your social circle altogether, obviously done in such a way that it's not going to cause any aggravation or arguments. But these are all things that we need to do to keep our mental health positive, basically, and healthy. Our work could be another huge factor in our mental health. And again, from a healthy boundary point of view, that could mean the type of work that we're doing. Is it rewarding to us? Are we progressing in our life path through it? Is it having a negative effect on us. These are all things to be mindful of. These are all things which will have an impact on our mental health. And again, if we're in relationships, it's not going to only affect us, it's going to affect those in our relationships as well. Because anything that affects our moods is going to affect the way that we interact with them. And, our negative behaviour could affect others accordingly. So, from a responsible point of view, plus obviously a loving point of view, it's important to be responsible and do the right thing, basically. Keep ourselves healthy so that we can keep those that we love healthy as well. Recreation is obviously another huge factor in our mental health and our lives. Again, are we being mentally stimulated? Are we progressing? Is it actually adding any kind of value to our life? Is it even financially viable? These are all things that we might have to sort of think about if it's having a negative impact on us. Obviously, if it's bringing value into our lives, then that's great, and perhaps we can even build upon that. Perhaps we can sort of think to ourselves, well, what can we do to sort of add even more value? And again, this is all about natural progression. It's about developing ourselves and bringing ourselves to a place where we can come to a point of fruition, perhaps, where we sort of like really developing ourselves to such a position where we're sort of like at full capacity and really sort of achieving and driving our mental health in a really positive way. Obviously, personal relationships, again, they need to be rewarding, but then obviously there's also compromise. You've got to take the bad times with the good times and vice versa. But if there's things that need addressing, it's important not to sort of leave situations slip, because situations can just get worse when we do that. It's a question of keeping on top of things, sorry, and I say just keep things healthy, keep our lives healthy, keep our mental health healthy. Obviously, if we're under mental health services, make sure that we follow the guidance given to us, make sure that we're taking our medication, make sure that we're attending appointments as we're supposed to, and keep ourselves healthy in the process. And again, if we're in relationships, obviously all that has a bearing on our relationships as well. What I also find really helpful is sharing. And if we can add value to others, then great. But I think a lot of us sort of forget that even sharing our struggles can help others to sort of understand us and perhaps see things which they might not have seen before. They might even reflect upon themselves and think, oh, now you mentioned that, yeah, that is something that I need to look at myself. So sharing is always good. And I suppose regarding mental health, I think a disciplined mind, a strong mind, is also very key. And what I found really helpful for disciplining my mind, if I go back to my mid-teens, I went through a stage where I was doing weight training before school. And the actual process of weight training was doing repetition of sets with weights, and these would be timed gaps between each set of repetitions. So you're there and you're more focused on your watch than actually focused on the actual strenuous exercise. And it sort of helps in a way to build mind over matter. As I say, it sort of helps discipline the mind, and you sort of realise really that potentially focusing your mind on something more important than, say, in this case, the physical exertion can actually help discipline the mind and see things from different angles. And Also, what I think could be very useful is meditation, and there's many YouTube videos out there on meditation. But I think a lot of it, I think a lot of the point they're missing really is the ability to remove conscious thoughts, remove your point of focus, and leave go of thoughts one by one until you're actually at a point where all that you're consciously aware of is your surroundings with no thoughts other than that in your head. And it's a question of clearing your thoughts. And when you can clear your thoughts, things like I don't know, I suppose things with anxiousness might be the best way to work through that is just by getting on with doing things, keeping your mind and your body focused on an activity, and then because your point of focus is more important, more in the moment than the anxiousness, you may well find that the anxiousness takes a bit of a back burner as your primary focus is getting your tasks done. But yeah, regarding clearing thoughts, it can be really beneficial. And if you can do that as a habit, as a habitual habit, it can be really useful. And it can sort of bring your focus back to where it needs to be rather than trapped in your thoughts, perhaps. Something to be, something to perhaps take into consideration. So hopefully this has been of some help to you. Please leave comments if you want to do so, and thank you for watching.